5 years ago, I stepped into the world hidden in plain sight. A Britain with quiet ghosts, men and women who slipped through our streets like morning mist, breathing the same air as us, buying milk beside us, yet living with the weight of a single knock at the door.
You wake up in the morning and think, am I going to be alive tonight, tomorrow? You have to exist. Right now, I live in limbo. You can't survive before existing. Now I'm surviving. But how much longer should I continue to just be surviving?
I wanted to understand them. I wanted to shine a light on their plight. I'm Jamal Osman. Welcome to my journalism toolkit. 5 years have passed since I filmed a man we called Shang, a 37-year-old from Zimbabwe, living in Glasgow, living in fear, living without papers. As the debate over immigration grows sharper and the rhetoric louder, I felt it was important to revisit Shang's story, what I learned, and why his voice still echoes across this moment. Back then, I wasn't just telling someone else's story, I was touching the edges of my own. I had fled Somalia, applied for asylum, and built a life here. Two men arrived around the same time, one accepted, the other rejected. Two paths separated by a single decision from the Home Office. Shang isn't alone. The latest figures suggest that there are around 1 million people living in the UK who don't have the legal rights to be in this country. It began with a simple question. How do people survive when a country says they don't exist? The invisible amongst us, the thousands of undocumented people living as though the ground beneath them might open at any moment. They changed phone numbers like shirts, they avoided patterns, they trusted no one, and their greatest skill was simply not being seen. I knew it was a sensitive story, dangerous for the people in it. Emotionally loaded, politically charged, but journalism often demands that we step carefully into uncomfortable truths. When I met Shang, he had already been here 17 years, a visitor's visa, a failed asylum claim, 17 years of limbo. He lived in accommodation provided by kind people, a place he never revealed to anyone outside a tight circle. Festive seasons meant closing the curtains and staying indoors because police patrols increased. To him, December wasn't a holiday, it was a threat.
I may have blood in my body, maybe speaking to you right now, but a normal person would be going through what I'm going through.
What do you mean? Explain.
Normal people don't focus on surviving or existing. Normal people focus on day-to-day life.
To film him, we had to move with caution. No face shown, no predictable routes. He designed his life like a chess match, always 2 steps ahead of an opponent he never met. I followed him through Glasgow and he saw dangers where I only saw lampposts. A police car, he changed direction. A man in a heavy jacket lingering too long, he crossed the street. He described the city as a minefield. I began to understand that survival wasn't just physical, it was mental endurance, day after day. His clothes mattered, his steps mattered. Looking like a drug dealer, he said, could get him stopped. The wrong hoodie could mean deportation. That level of self-editing, most of us never have to think like that. Every week, he went to the Red Cross office, to a group called the Voices Network. There, the invisible became visible, at least to one another. He wasn't just a participant, he was a mentor, lifting up others, telling them not to lose hope.
Expressing your feelings and what's happening to you, it helps in different ways, but just talking about it, you know that he's not the only one, she's not the only one, I'm not the only one. It's just, it kind of gives that small reprieve.
He dreamt of becoming a politician one day, an advocate. Even while trapped in limbo, he reached out his hand to others. A former journalist from Syria, people who couldn't go home even if they wanted to, people whose lives felt suspended, folded in on themselves. Shang comforted them gently, reminding them they still mattered.
I was a journalist.
A journalist in Syria.
I had very good life. I had 3 luxury houses. I had best life, I think. But no.
I am nothing now.
Don't say that. You are someone, man. Come on. You are someone. Don't say that. Okay?
That showed me the quiet nobility so many miss when they talk about illegal immigrants. They forget these are human beings with backbone, dreams, and a generosity the world hasn't returned. Mostly, he lived on donated food. He made around £30 a week, cash in hand if he was lucky. Cooking with his friend Mohammed, the room softened. He apologized that there was no goat meat.
I got some lamb, because obviously there's no goat around, you know, I'm a kind of goat kind of guy. So lamb, let it simmer away, you know what I'm saying, let it go. Because I used to cook back home when I was young.
Two men from two corners of Africa finding comfort in familiar spices. But beneath the laughter, there was sorrow neither tried to hide. 17 years without seeing his mother. An adulthood spent in the waiting room of a nation. Then there was Henry's barbershop, his sanctuary.
How you doing, boss man?
Yeah, man.
We're playing the same team that destroyed us when we were hosting at home, Valencia, man.
Oh, yeah, Champions League.
Football banter, the clatter of electric clippers. Men complaining about wives and girlfriends, but never ever about documents. Henry listened like a brother. Shang let himself breathe there. Yet even in that warm, noisy room, the boundary held. Paperwork was too dangerous a subject for the open air.
People don't normally bring their private stuff out.
Like that. So people are happy to talk about their wives, but not their documents.
Of course, 100%.
Really?
Of
Yeah.
course,
Reports estimated that 1 in 65 people in the UK could be considered illegal. But illegal is a word that erases the human, the person. Shang rejected it. He said, I am undocumented, because documents aren't identity, they are permission slips. And for him, Britain had never signed the form. 5 years later, the tension hasn't faded. If anything, the debate has grown even more detached from the real lives at its center. The story wasn't just about Shang, it was about millions like him, and it was about me, the thin line between being granted a life and being left wandering on its margins. But I was able to give stage to those who had been pushed into the wings and honor the quiet courage of the people who endure in the shadows. Shang's voice still matters, a reminder that the truth often whispers, and it's our job to lean in and listen. Today, as the UK wrestles with questions of borders, identity and belonging, I return to his story because it shows that every statistic has a heartbeat. Shang lived like a man the country refused to see, but for a brief moment, through our lens, he became visible. And that's why we tell stories, to make sure the forgotten are no longer forgotten. 2 years after we filmed with him, Shang contacted me. He told me he had taken the British government to court and won. He had started working, he was rebuilding his life. He was no longer an invisible man. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.